As somebody of a certain age who grew up with the Harry Potter franchise, Hogwarts Legacy has incredible appeal, finally giving you your own Hogwarts letter and inviting you to live your own adventure as a student. You can experience your story-based adventure as the seasons progress, just like some of your favourite films. And it's no surprise that the game has had so much attention, whether in the Twitter sphere or over on Twitch. But what makes it so popular? I'm Forrester, and this video will give a spoiler-free summary of Hogwarts Legacy, covering some of the different elements of the game. There are timestamps in the video description in case you're looking to find out about a specific element. Before delving into more detail about gameplay, it's worth addressing some of the controversies surrounding the game. Firstly, even before launch, there were a lot of people asking to boycott the game completely, owing to some controversial views from the original author of the books. Whilst I would always encourage people to follow their own conscience on such things, having played the game personally for some time at this point, my view is that the game itself tries to promote more tolerant values. For example, one of the characters encountered through the story is a witch who used to be a wizard, who shares the extent to which some people have been accepting of that transition. Whilst that may not be enough in itself to assuage the concerns of some detractors, for me personally, it suggests that this is a game that's trying to raise these real-world issues through the storytelling, while encouraging people to be more open-minded, and ultimately, to be kind to one another. Also controversial have been a lot of comments from launch about performance challenges, with seemingly high-end hardware struggling to run the game. Whilst that hasn't been my experience, as the game has run fairly smoothly even at 4K resolutions, it's a common theme when console games are ported across to PC, and isn't surprising. It seems that the developers have committed to post-launch patches to try to address this issue, so time may tell whether that solves the problem. One of the most appealing elements to Hogwarts Legacy is the ability to explore. The Hogwarts castle is huge, with so many places, both familiar and new, all available for you to see in-game. It's quite possible to get a load of levels by just exploring Hogwarts and seeing the sights. There are countless hours of entertainment available just by looking for hidden chests, or playing the mini-games, or even just watching the ghosts interact with each other. For a game playing on the Harry Potter world, that's absolutely key, and Hogwarts Legacy doesn't disappoint in this regard. For those who want to lean into that element, there are plenty of familiar places to visit from the books or the films. Want to grab a butterbeer in Hogsmeade Village? No problem. Or go exploring a certain second floor bathroom in search of a sink engraved with a serpent? You can do that too, but you're not isolated to just the castle itself. The surrounding countryside also feels suitably epic to explore, offering a wide, expansive landscape that changes with the seasons and gives flavour to the story. Not to mention, being able to take to the broom and fly over the game world gives a sense of scale that also contributes to the sort of feeling that you may have got from reading the books or watching the films for the first time. Combat in Hogwarts Legacy feels satisfying. Whilst it's not as brutal as some hardcore games out there are different difficulty settings that allow you to customize your own experience. And in combat itself, you have plenty of choices too. The mainstay is a selection of spells, ranging from the humble Levioso all the way to the unforgivable curses, if that's your bag. Combat looks and feels like some of the choreographed duels from the movies, and mixing between basic attacks and spell combos lets you fight in different ways. There's enough intricacy in terms of shielding, dodging, and tailoring attacks to break through enemy defensive spells to make combat a satisfying part of the game. And that's further augmented by being able to use plants and potions to full effect. As many a potions teacher or herbology professor would tell you, magic isn't just about casting fancy spells, and it's a nice nod to those tendencies that you can use a variety of those techniques in a combat situation. As this is a spoiler-free review, suffice it to say that there is plenty in the story to keep you entertained. The central thread is the main questline, which is built into the narrative of late 19th century Wizarding World politics, with your own special skills and abilities being nurtured throughout. But there are also no shortage of side quests, classes to attend, all of which help you feel part of the world around you and immerse you in the experience of being a student at the best wizarding school in the world. And through all of this, there are callbacks to Wizarding World lore, as little Easter eggs to reward those true fans of the books or films. You'll find yourself making choices based on your own style of play, and none of that is more true than choosing your own Hogwarts house or your own personal wand. For those who choose to, you can even link those decisions to your Pottermore account to make the in-game choices flow from there. The actual gameplay is cleverly done too. In many a traditional game, it's all about fighting, and whilst going out and fighting things is a good way to get experience points to level up, there are plenty of other ways too, not least simply exploring the world. There are a series of challenges about fighting, exploring, completing quests, or collecting things, all of which help to give a directive nudge, whilst also offering you, the player, plenty of freedom to do the things that you want to do. There are no shortage of mini-games, whether that be the dueling club, summoner's court, broom racing, or simply using Alohomora on a locked door. These all serve to add more variety to what you're doing in the game world. And speaking of variety, you can also spend your time taming and caring for all manner of magical beasts, and cultivate and grow your own plants that you can use for potion making and the like. Oh, and collecting and upgrading gear. You can pick up different items that make you more powerful, customize them for your own combat style, and also change their appearance so you can present your character to the world in the way that you choose. In summary, Hogwarts Legacy is one of those greats that really delivers. Yes, it's feeding off the energy and enthusiasm for the Harry Potter wizarding world, and unashamedly so, but it's also giving some really compelling entertainment. It could be easily mentioned in the same sentence as some of the all-time great role-playing games, like Skyrim. The game world is beautiful, immersive, and gives you no shortage of variety, whilst also putting you at the centre of a dynamic, interesting story. Moreover, you can explore somewhat independently of the overall story, flitting back and forth as you wish, depending on what you want to be doing. And there's no shortage of mini-games as you play through, meaning there are many hours of entertainment content on hand for future replayability. You can make your own choices throughout the game, and whilst they often don't feel like they're as meaningful as in some other games, they still help to immerse you a little more in the character you're playing. Oh, and yes, you can have multiple character save slots, so if you like to play a character from each of the Hogwarts houses, you can do just that. For the most part, the control scheme translates across to mouse and keyboard fairly well, so even if you don't have a controller, you can still have a fairly good experience. Long story short, with many hours in-game so far, there's still a huge amount to still see and do, which holds a lot of promise for the future. But what do you think? Have you been playing? You can share your thoughts, or even which house you've been sorted into in the video comments. If you enjoyed this video, you might press that like button to tell me to make more like it, and if this sort of video appeals to you, you might click subscribe to be notified of future videos when they come up. Otherwise, I'm Forrester, and as always, thank you for watching.